Chosen one. Before you listen further, I want you to write something in the comments right now. I've kept silent for too long. Don't think twice. If your soul has ever screamed in silence, this message is for you. This isn't a video, this is a mirror. And if your heart is already racing, that's not fear, it's recognition. Because only the chosen ones will feel this. Only the called will understand. The first dark truth is this: we're never truly at peace around crowds. Chosen ones often live surrounded by noise but haunted by silence. The world calls us quiet, distant, moody, but what they don't understand is, our spirit is tuned into frequencies they'll never hear. We don't just walk into rooms, we discern the atmosphere. We feel when the vibe is off, when someone's smile hides betrayal, when the air carries tension no one speaks of. That's not anxiety. That's spiritual sensitivity. But we don't talk about it, because we've been called too deep, or too much. So we stay silent. Truth number 2, we constantly battle invisible enemies. Most people fight what they can see. Chosen ones fight what others deny even exists. Spirits, energies, forces, generational chains. We fight battles that didn't start with us, but end with us. That's why the weight is heavier. That's why the warfare is relentless. The enemy doesn't attack empty vessels. He attacks the anointed. And when your purpose threatens darkness, you'll feel hell rage against you from childhood. And you did. You've been attacked in ways that can't be explained. You've survived things you never told anyone. You've smiled through betrayal. You've walked through rejection. You've held yourself together while everything inside you fell apart. Third truth, we often feel guilty for outgrowing people. It hurts. You love them, but you can't stay in that version of yourself just to make them comfortable. And so, you quietly pull away. Not out of arrogance, but preservation. Because your soul is allergic to fake now. Surface-level conversations feel like noise. You crave depth. And when they ask, "What happened to you?" the truth is you woke up. You stopped shrinking. You stopped explaining. You stopped making yourself palatable for people who couldn't digest your purpose. But you don't explain this to anyone. You just keep walking forward. Fourth truth, you've mastered the art of pretending you're okay. You know how to keep functioning while spiritually bleeding. You encourage others while you feel empty. You give advice that you desperately need. You say, "I'm fine," so automatically it almost feels true. But inside you're tired. Not just tired, soul tired. And the worst part? People are so used to your strength, they forget you're still human. That you still break. That you still need to be seen. But you never say it, because chosen ones don't like asking for help. We carry storms quietly. Fifth truth, we often feel homesick for a place we've never been. There's this deep ache in us. This longing. We can be surrounded by love, by comfort, and still feel like something's missing. It's not depression. It's divine discontentment. Because our spirit remembers heaven. It remembers where we came from. That's why this world never fully feels like home. That's why temporary pleasures can't satisfy a chosen soul. We were made for eternity. And deep down, we know we're just passing through. Sixth truth, we're often misunderstood by those closest to us. Family, friends, partners. They love the idea of us, but not the calling. They love the light we carry, until it exposes their shadows. They love the peace we bring, until it convicts their chaos. And suddenly, the chosen one becomes the black sheep. The outsider. The misunderstood. They think we changed, when really, we just grew. They confuse boundaries with betrayal. And instead of asking what's wrong, they distance themselves. And we don't chase. We let them go. Not out of pride, but protection. Because our peace is too precious now. Seventh truth, we often question if we're going crazy. Because when you hear things others don't, when you feel things others can't, when you dream things before they happen, the mind plays tricks. But you're not crazy. You're gifted. You're anointed. You're tuned into a higher dimension. And the enemy wants you to doubt it. To numb it. to drown it. But deep down, you know, this isn't madness. This is mantling. This is purpose pressing on your chest. This is spiritual awakening. Eighth truth, we get spiritually lonely. Not just socially. Spiritually. Because we crave conversations that uplift. We crave people who pray with power. We crave connection with others who carry oil. And when that doesn't happen, we isolate. Not because we want to, but because our spirit rejects anything inauthentic. You can't do fake friendships anymore. You can't sit at tables where gossip replaces growth. You'd rather sit alone than be surrounded by lukewarm energy. But sometimes, the loneliness still aches. And the ninth truth, we don't even know how much we're carrying. Chosen ones often operate on empty. But because we're anointed, people don't notice. Because we carry light, they don't see the weight. Because we're strong, they assume we're okay. But the truth is, you've been holding it all in. The fear. The pressure. The unanswered prayers. The moments you wanted to give up. And even now, as you hear this, you're nodding with tears. Because someone finally said what your soul couldn't say. These 9 truths aren't just statements, they're sacred confessions. Things you've buried. Things you've hidden. Things you thought no one would understand. But God understands. He sees it. He feels it. And He's not condemning you, He's comforting you. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're chosen. And chosen ones walk heavy paths. Not because they're cursed, but because they carry glory. And if you've made it this far in this message, I want you to write this next in the comments. I carry more than they know. Let it be your declaration. Let it be your agreement. Let it be your healing. Because the truth is, this world never saw what you survived. But heaven did. And God is not finished with you. This message is only the beginning. The beginning of you finally admitting what you've buried. The beginning of release. Of healing. Of remembering who you are. And as we go deeper in part 2, there's more that God wants to pull out, speak to, and awaken in you. So don't go anywhere. Let this truth settle in your bones. Let your silence find language. Let your soul breathe. Because what's been hidden for too long is about to be healed. And now that your soul is uncovered and your silence has found a voice, let me tell you something the world never did. You were never crazy. You were just spiritually awake in a sleeping world. And that awareness was your gift, not your curse. You kept the truth to yourself because when you tried to speak it, they mocked you, dismissed you, called you too intense, too emotional, too different. And you believed that maybe staying quiet was safer than being seen. But now the veil is gone, the mask has cracked, and God is whispering something into your spirit so loudly, it's shaking the silence off your bones. He's saying, you were never meant to fit in. You were designed to disrupt. And the fire that's always lived inside of you, the one you tried to dim just to make others comfortable, is rising again, unapologetically. You see, chosen ones were never sent here to blend in. We were sent here to break chains, and that calling often means carrying wounds no one sees, walking paths no one understands, and smiling through storms that would have swallowed most people whole. But that smile? That smile was forged in fire, shaped by spiritual battles that heaven applauded and earth ignored. And now, this is your moment, the moment where the silence turns to sound, the ache becomes an anthem, and your private pain transforms into public power. You're not hiding anymore. You're not shrinking to survive. You're standing to shine. Because if only people knew what you've carried, the spiritual warfare you never named, the losses that almost broke you, the betrayal that nearly made you bitter, the anxiety that made you pray when no one was watching, the spiritual assignments that kept you up at night while others slept in peace, they'd stop judging your intensity and start respecting your endurance. But it's okay that they didn't see it. Because God did. And He never forgot. And now, He's revealing the reason behind the rejection, the purpose behind the pain, the divine weight behind your wilderness. Because what you carry isn't common, it's consecrated. That's why the enemy tried to isolate you early. That's why your childhood felt heavier than your shoulders could hold. That's why you never quite felt home anywhere. Because your true assignment was never tied to a place. It was tied to a presence. And that presence is with you now, hovering over you even as you listen, pulling every dormant dream back to life. And now I need you to hear this loud. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. The delays were divine. The silence was sacred. The confusion was part of the code. Because God was not punishing you, He was preparing you. For such a time as this. For the rising. For the revealing. For the unlocking of your true spiritual inheritance. And it's not about titles or platforms or recognition, it's about obedience. About authority. About knowing who you are even when no one claps for you. Because chosen ones don't perform for applause, we move by assignment. And your assignment? It's awakening others. You are the interruption to generational curses. The breaker of bloodline patterns. The one who walks in rooms and shifts the energy without saying a word, because your presence carries power. And that power? It came from every midnight cry, every lonely prayer, every spiritual battle where you didn't even have words, just groans. And heaven heard all of it. Heaven remembered all of it. And heaven is now repaying all of it, not in fame, but in favor. Not in money, but in meaning. Not in noise, but in knowing. And maybe you still feel tired. Maybe the ache still lingers. Maybe the old wounds still try to bleed sometimes. That's okay. It doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. But let this truth be your healing. God never forgot your fight. He never ignored your faithfulness. He saw every time you resisted the darkness, even when it pulled at you with everything it had. He saw the nights you wanted to numb the pain, but instead, you prayed through the silence. He saw the moments you could have become bitter, but you chose love. That's what made you dangerous to hell, not your perfection, but your persistence. Not your image, but your inner fire. And that fire? It's about to touch others. You're not just called, you're contagious. You carry an atmosphere of breakthrough. You carry a sound of deliverance. You carry a story that breaks shame off others just by being honest. And the more real you get, the more people get free. So stop hiding your truth. Stop minimizing your power. Stop apologizing for your anointing. This world doesn't need another copy. It needs your original fire. And you've got it. You've had it all along. Buried under fear. Under guilt. Under trauma. But not anymore. This is your divine awakening. Your breaking point becomes your breakthrough. Your wilderness becomes your witness. Your silence becomes your sound. And that sound? It's not just for you. It's for every soul who ever felt invisible. For every heart that carried too much. For every mind that broke under pressure. For every spirit that needed to know they weren't crazy, just called. And if you're still here, still breathing, still standing, this is your sign. Don't waste another day doubting yourself. Don't waste another tear on people who couldn't recognize your worth. Don't waste your voice hiding in rooms where your spirit doesn't belong. Stand up. Speak loud. Heal out loud. Pray with boldness. And walk like your name is already written in heaven's strategy. Because it is. And as you walk forward, if this message stirred something deep in your bones, if it made you cry, breathe, break, or remember, then I invite you into this space, this family, this movement of chosen ones who are done hiding, done shrinking, done pretending. If you're one of us, hit that subscribe button, not just to follow, but to walk this journey together. And if you feel led to support this calling, this channel, this mission, you can bless it by giving through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the pinned comment and description below. Every seed matters. Every gift helps spread more light, more truth, more fire to those who need it. But whether you give or not, your presence here means everything. You are not alone. You never were. And now, the silence is over. The secrets are spoken. The light is rising. You've kept the truth buried long enough. Now it's time to live it, breathe it, and become it. Because you are chosen. You are called. And this is your awakening.